Back to the show page at KFAN.com, Alan's page, and this now is officially a familiar face. He's a familiar voice to many, and his prose and his words are familiar to many via thedraftnetwork.com. But this is appearance number 3 for my main man, Jordan Reid from The Draft Network. The draft is in a week. I don't like my hair. It's very Einstein-esque. So I'm going to wear a hat just like Jay Reid, okay? I don't, as AJ Mansour producing this, and Eric Nordquist, who generally produces it, as they would share, I don't generally wear hats. But you look very good in hats, Jordan. How are you?
That's what happens when you need a haircut. I just throw the hat on there, and it just shields you from everything. So,
and you're feeling so good about your lot in life right now. I mean, you got the draft in a week. And you are donning the colors of your favorite football team at KFAN.com for largely a Minnesota audience. So Skol Vikings, Skol to the bowl, right?
Absolutely. Skol all day long, baby.
Now, my hat, the Funk Brothers, you know who the Funk Brothers are?
I don't. And you got on me this hard for during the pre-show, so I feel bad.
Down memory lane we go. The Funk Brothers were the musicians for Motown. So, you know, when Motown with the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Bootsy Collins, and so on, when they did studio stuff, the Funk Brothers were some of the greatest. I mean, think about it. You're new school, I'm old school. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe the most familiar bass line in the history of music, My Girl. That's what they did. And then they went on tour, 15, 20 years ago with Joan Osborne, Bootsy Collins, Maxie Priest singing the Motown songs. That's where I got the hat. Can I get a witness?
You're just showing your age. That's all.
Einstein gives you that story. I mean, has the draftnetwork.com blown up so much that you're just going to come right in the announcer's face and just call him old?
I'm just playing, Pierre. You know I love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you too, and I'm happy to have you here. Draft, take 3, Jordan Reid. Elijah Vera Tucker, USC, tackle guard. When we first did this, at the end of it, you said that's the guy for the Vikings around where they pick. This might be the penultimate, depending on how busy you are next week. I'm going to tap on you if you have time. Are you still with the USC cat, and why?
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Vera Tucker for now. I'm really on the fence about 2 guys, honestly. The other is Jalen Phillips, the edge rusher from Miami. Those are the 2 possibilities that I'm looking at for the Vikings right now that I like the most. But Vera Tucker, we need help at left guard and left tackle. And the big dilemma with him is that he can play either one. Is he a tackle or is he a guard? He's a bit of a shorter offensive tackle. The arm length is a question as well. So some teams view him as a guard. Some teams view him as a tackle. But regardless, I think he can help the Minnesota Moving Company right away.
Is he somebody for whom, and this is going to be a theme that I will pay off at the end, is Elijah Vera Tucker somebody for whom you would consider trading up from 14?
I don't think they'll have to trade up for him, just because I think we know a definite that Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater are probably going to be the 2 guys that go early. After that, you have Christian Darrisaw, who there's a lot of mixed opinions about him right now as far as where he will go. The talent is clearly there, but the Chargers at 13 could be somewhere that he goes. But if he gets past the Chargers at 13, of course, he's going to be there for the taking for the Vikings. So I don't think Vera Tucker, they're going to have to trade up for him just because of the position questions as far as is he a tackle or is he a guard. But as far as the talent, everybody around the league feels as if he's a top 15 to 20 type of talent. Your
website, you got a witness for me. When I was looking at the website today, catching up on the individual mocks for the teams, that's really cool, man. Just, because up to the season, I'm not an AFC snob and I don't play fantasy football, but I'm still going to read previews on every team to kind of feel like what they're all about, man. And, now granted, these players you mock may not go there, but you kind of get a feel for where like the Jags were last year and where they want to go with Urban. Nice job.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's just trying to bring different things to the draft sphere, just because the draft is like a 365 thing now. It's not just a January to April thing anymore. January to May, everybody's looking forward to the draft 365 now.
I had PJ Fleck, Gophers coach, on my radio show today, 9 to noon, KFAN. And, he talked about two draftable Gophers this year, Rashad Bateman obviously being the most prominent. And then he guaranteed that's going to change the next few years, specifically with offensive linemen. And he's like, the Gophers haven't had an offensive lineman drafted in like 16, 17, 18 years. And that would be Greg Esslinger, who went to the Broncos. Mark Setterstrom back in the day played with the St. Louis Rams. But the Gophers offensive line now and moving forward, I don't know how far down the road you are on it at this stage. I'm just sharing with you what he said. It might be pretty good.
Yeah, and they had a high-ranked guy coming into the year, Daniel Faalele. There was a lot of excitement, the big left tackle, 400-pound left tackle that everybody was really excited about. But some things happened with him, some injury things of where he's back at school now. So we'll see what does happen with him. But as far as some guys, even in this draft, Rashad Bateman, we already know Benjamin St. Juste is another player that a lot of people are excited about as well.
Safety to put pressure on Xavier Woods. I'm not trying to get anybody cut. With all due respect, I think we can do better there. Better in having, like J-Ron Curse, but better. Somebody, who you can count on for a little bit. I sniffed out Andre Cisco from Syracuse, and I know we have an ACL in 2020 where I'm like, okay, well, we have a veteran in Woods. But a couple of these plays I watch, man, and I'm not elite all 22 college like you. What a playmaker. Holy cow. When he makes plays, they're big.
Yeah, 13 career interceptions, which is an astronomical number, especially for a college player. So he's going to get the ball back to your offense, and then with a player like Harrison Smith, you really want Harrison moving all over the place. And with a guy like Cisco that can roam and play atop the defense, he's a true single high free safety, similar to what we saw from Anthony Harris during his heyday a few years ago, of where he was just roaming on the roof and just all over the place. I think Cisco is definitely that type of guy, but you have to factor in the torn ACL, of course, which may bump him down a round. So with one of those third-round picks, Cisco will be a home run pick.
Oh, so you think he's a third rounder? Okay, so he's Friday. Well, let me put you in this spot. Top of the head, a Saturday safety who can do the same thing that we just talked about, but also play really good on special teams.
There's two guys that I think could be possible picks in the second round, and one of them is Richie Grant from Central Florida. He's a player that went down to the Senior Bowl, absolutely tore it up. I think he was the best player down there without question. A bit of an older rookie. He'll be a 24-year-old guy, so that's something that you have to factor in a little bit with him. But if you're just strictly talking about the talent, he can play single high on the roof. He can come down and play strong safety as well. Really good in man coverage. And another one that I'm a big fan of is Javon Holland from Oregon, a player that has had, since his senior year of high school, he's had 14 interceptions. So he's had a bunch of turnover production himself. Very, very cerebral and smart player. Graduated from Oregon in 2.5 years. So that just goes to show you how smart he is. Really versatile as well. Played more of a free safety role in 2018 and then transitioned to really a slot-only role in 2019. Of course, we saw him opt out prior to last season. So it's been a while since we've seen him. But if the Vikings trade back from 14 and they're able to recoup a second-round pick, keep an eye on Javon Holland.
Jordan Reid, thedraftnetwork.com, show page, Allen's page. Jordan was a coach in college, Division I, played Division I quarterback. Very, very likable guy who does a great job with thedraftnetwork.com and becoming a premium subscriber if you're into this year round. I mean, I would highly suggest it now that I know more about the website and the people and what they do. And, man, I just can't thank you enough for doing this with me. I move on to Florida wide receiver Kadarius Toney. Now, at this stage of the equation, without tapping around too much because, with the inside and trying to, just get information, I don't want to shoot all my shots on wide receiver kick returners or Saturday safeties. But, this Kadarius Toney from Florida, a few things I watched of him were a little Percy Harvin-esque with his twitch and stuff. Does he return punts or kicks? And is there a punt, specifically a punt returner, that you think would be cool for the Vikings?
He does return punts, and he was very successful at doing so. A Mobile, Alabama kid. He really started as a Wildcat quarterback when he first came to Florida, and he got better every single year that he was there. He really learned and taught himself the position as far as playing wide receiver. He kind of was that crossover between running back and Wildcat quarterback when he first got there, and then he transitioned to wide receiver quickly after that. And he got better every single year. I thought he showed really sure hands. In all single levels of the field. They played him predominantly in the slot just because they had some really good guys on the outside. And Kyle Pitts, of course, who we were very fond of. And then also Trayvon Grimes, who will probably be a day 3 receiver. That was a big-time recruit that originally went to Ohio State and then transferred to Florida, where he went on to have a lot of success a year ago with Kyle Trask throwing those guys the football. So with Tony, an electrifying type of player, hold your breath whenever he touches the ball, and very similar to Percy Harvin, in that it just seems like those type of guys don't have any bones in their ankles just because they're making guys miss all over the field.
Yeah, but the guys who are missing, they don't have any jocks in their drawer anymore.
Right. Definitely. So, yeah, Kadarius Toney, he would be an interesting pick. Now, it
like
would be a little bit
for
rich.
Toney?
It would not surprise me. Like, I think his ceiling is probably 19 to Washington.
What?
Yeah.
19 overall?
Yeah, there's a lot of intrigue with him. Jacksonville
I'm up here asking you about wide receiver at 19 where we ain't taking one. Oh, I thought maybe it was a second round piece in case the Vikes move back.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't be so shocked if he didn't go in the first round, but if somebody like Washington takes him at 19, Urban Meyer may like him at 25 as well. With Jacksonville, we can see Kansas City take him at 31 as well. I think there's a lot of intrigue with him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just expose myself as somebody who doesn't look at a lot of mock drafts. And it's not that I don't like mock drafts. People love them. I don't want it to influence my opinion from my own research, my own texts, my own phone calls, stuff like that. And obviously I haven't put a lot of work into this kid. But nevertheless, you know, some type of punt returner for the Vikings, a cool one. Who would you think outside of Toney?
So there's a running back at Iowa State that I really like, and he's kind of a similar mold of what we saw from Mike Boone a few years ago, of where he's kind of that special teams ace that could come in and be your number 3 running back or provide some competition to Amir Abdullah. And his name is Kene Nwangwu, and he's from Iowa State, ran 4.31 at the Pro Day. Outstanding athlete. He was always in the shadow of a lot of guys like David Montgomery, who ended up being a day 2 pick for the Bears, and then also Breece Hall, who's a young running back that we'll be talking about a lot next year. Never had over 350 rushing yards in his career, but averaged 26.8 yards per kick return, and then also was really good on punts as well. So if they're looking for that, priority free agent or 6th or 7th round running back like they normally take a shot at, keep an eye on Nwangwu.
Yeah, and I think you're going to agree with me here. But, when Spielman trades back and ends up with 3, 4, and 5 7th round picks, some people are like, what happened? And I'm like, cool, because I'd rather draft him than have to be in a bidding war with Bruce Arians to get somebody nobody's heard of. And he's probably going to win a Super Bowl with Tom,
Right. And with this class being much smaller, I think there's 678 total prospects this year, which is down from about 1,100 a year ago. So undrafted free agency is going to be a war, but the pool is going to be much smaller.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. Elite take. Time for 2 more. I don't know. It's inevitable, man. I mean, Bailey bleeped it up last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted him back, but Dan's not a veteran minimum guy, and he has too much equity. And I don't know what happened, but he's not here. So our kicking situation, man, it's a giant question mark. Would you draft Evan McPherson from Florida?
I'm a proponent of not drafting specialists.
What about Roberto Aguayo in the 2nd round?
Drafting specialists is just like one of my golden rules that I would never do, just because, I know kickers, they've broken our hearts a lot of times as followers of the Vikings, but I just think whenever you can find somebody like a Stephen Weatherly in the 7th round or a Jaron Curse in the 7th round, I just think you can build depth. Shamar Stephen, somebody like that, a Stephon Diggs that they found on day 3 as well. I just think you can find some more premium positions as opposed to specialists.
So we got to get a kicker, though. I mean, maybe a 7th round pick so you don't get beat by Belichick on a kicker. Right. Maybe, something like that. But if you got a bunch of them, I see what you're saying, though. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Evan McPherson, are you such a football snob you refuse to look at kicker all 22, or is Evan McPherson good?
Yeah, I didn't dive into kickers and punters this year.
My man.
I did last year. Like I love
There you
Tyler
go.
Bass
You
that ended
that
up
was
going
such
to
a cool
Buffalo.
answer. You get the Funk Brothers hat. You're the football verbal version of boom, 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 boom. I got sunshine. All right, last one. I'm gonna pay off the theme. Okay. When I asked you about trading up for Elijah Vera Tucker, 9 to noon today. I mean, we've talked out everything, man. You've written and thought about everything. I'm like, when I'm putting together the Thursday show with Nordo, I'm like, what is unheralded that's realistic? So I thought trading up from 14. And I asked you about Elijah Vera Tucker, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but if the Vikings can trade up to a realistic spot to get Rashawn Slater, are you a fan of that?
I would say no, just because of how deep this offensive tackle class is. I don't think there's a precipitous drop off from Rashawn Slater to somebody like a Christian Darrisaw. I don't think there's a huge drop off, and you're getting the same type of player in a sense as far as the talent. And then, of course, you're going to have to expend some more picks with doing so as well. And if you want Slater, you're probably going to have to trade up to 7 with Detroit, which probably is not going to happen with the in-division rival. Just because the Panthers are going to take one of Sewell or Slater, whoever's there at 8, in my opinion. So you're going to have to get in front of them to get one of them. We don't know what Cincinnati's going to do at 5. I think it's between Sewell and Chase. If it were me, I would go with the offensive lineman, just considering what happened to my number 1 overall pick last year with them getting the torn ACL. So let's say Sewell goes there. You're going to have to get up to 6 or 7 with Miami or Detroit to get Slater.
I had a very well-respected offensive mind in the NFL today, not located in Minnesota. Oh, good for you. Tell me Kyle Pitts is the best player in the draft. It's not even close.
Second best player for me behind Trevor Lawrence. He's the best non-quarterback prospect. I've been saying that since January, and he reminds me a lot of Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders. I think he's an even more athletic version of him. And, it wouldn't surprise me, PA, if we're looking back 3 years on this draft now and he ends up being the best player from it. I think he's that special.
You're fantastic. Texting you over the weekend, 9 to noon next week for sure. Maybe this next week. If this is it, which is probably not. Thank you for all 3. God bless you. And the draftnetwork.com from the heart, man. You guys really do good work. In closing, when I do that bass line, the Funk Brothers, do you know the song? My Girl by the Temptations.
Oh yeah, okay. I know a lot of songs by the Temptations.
I Got Sunshine. You know that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do not know the words. I know, like, if I hear I have sunshine.
All
I know
the
that
money
part.
we're giving you for these Zooms, and we can't even get a ball. All right, man. God bless you.
There we go.
We got Barry White to you. Holy cow. All right, see you, Jordan.
Thanks as always, PA.